Hello, everybody. Tonight it's Monday night, the 26th of August, 2019. Yesterday I decided to do a little bit of continue on with some of that scenery, and I sealed in the loop area, prepping that for some rock face. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do the rock face yet, so we'll just end it right now where the we've got everything sealed off. I used 14 gauge copper wire going around for the framework, and then sealed it off with a little bit of burlap and plaster of Paris. I colored the plaster of Paris with some gray powdered dye and also some black powdered dye, uh, just in case I happen to chip into it if I do the Edward Scissorhands method or what. But that's how I'm going to do the rest of the rock face castings. Also, is go ahead and tint the plaster before I put it on there. I realize I'll come back through and paint everything, but it gives a nice start to the project, to the plaster. Um, this was a relatively simple project to do. I didn't do much as far as the prep work and everything like that. I did have to clean off my bench top. That took an hour or a little bit more or so, but that was a well needed thing to do. It had several months full of projects pushed back and pushed back just to make a little bit of room. But I probably will here continue on around the little curve a little bit more. I'm still not sure what I want to put in this little lower lying area that's down below this rock face that I'm doing. And mainly I just wanted to put the portholes in, get those in, at least get those staged. And after this I'm going to move back up to the cement plant area and continue on with some plaster work up there. Do the lot that goes around the car repair facility, and also a lot of the concrete roads and the stuff that goes around the cement plant. Everything up there is going to be cement, so all the groundwork, grasses and trees and such like that are just about done for now. Those won't continue on for a while, I guess. Well, enjoy the video of me covering up the loop area. Well, this is what the loop area looks like before we get started. You see the mock-up of where I'm going to have my openings at, the portholes. First I got to clean up this mess though. This bench top is trashed. It's got, I want to say, 2 or 3 months worth of work that's accumulated on it. I keep kind of pushing things back as I've been working, so all those pieces from, I don't know, 10 or 12 different Walthers and Pike Stuff kits are just bashed in there. Well, here we go. I'm going to start using some 14 gauge copper wire. It's the leftover ground wire from some projects that I had. You'll see little blue dots there. I use a small drill bit to make little holes to support all that stuff, and still got the mess, but I'm focused on getting this wire in there. I drilled little holes all around, worked my way up to the porthole where I am forced to clean the mess up, and little by little I made myself around. The 14 gauge wire is nice to work with. You can get it to your almost exact length that you need, but then you can just kind of tweak it a little bit, put a little bend in it, and you can take up some length like that. Here's the center piece that still needs to be filled in after I clean up the workbench. Then I started working on the gap in between those two sections there. There's two portholes. I like to listen to a lot of music when I'm building a model railroad, so I listen to classic rock, new rock, some chill house, techno stuff. The chill house stuff I usually mainly use that for when I'm trying to ponder things, so I listened to a lot of that before I began this project, and then switched over to some rock mix, classic and new. But here we go, and filling in the center gap here. I got later on. I decided I wanted a little bit more valley in there, so carved that out. You'll see I got some cardboard and backers in there so that you can't see in there. I ended up painting those black before I started the plaster work. Those right there, right now, they're just sitting there drying, glued in. I used some super glue gel and then some white glue. Super glue gel just kind of in spots to tack it down, and loaded her down with some Aleene's white glue. And here's burlap strips I've been pack ratting for a bunch of years, knowing that it'd come in handy for doing some plaster work. I started off here with there's 3 or 4 sections of plaster on there. The bowl I was using, it's getting down to the bottom of this first batch, so this piece is just a little dry, but it'll work in there. I want to put that edge, a nice flat edge up against the rail, ballast rail there. I use 1/4-inch foam for my ballast, and that's which worked out really nice. Here I'm just scooping on a little bit of a little bit more soupier mix on that dry piece there, pushing it down in, getting everything nice and started along that edge. That curve was just a little bit annoying, but it all came out pretty nice. That wired mesh just worked out great. Can't say enough about it. And here we are. Here's the finished product. The end of the night, it's still wet, as you can see. Turned out real nice. Okay, this is dried. This is the next morning. This is the 26th of August, 2019. I got tired last night and just ended it where I did, but it's nice and hard. I had a small spot to do before I finished last night, and I just threw some plaster in the bowl that was still had some gray. I used some gray dye powder. In this side I used black dye powder, and then over here I had a little bit left over from this morning doing a video for Brian over at the D&R-GW. So I just slapped that on that end point right there. It had a little hole, so. But that's the beginnings of covering the loop area. Haven't decided yet if I'm going to go full on Edward Scissorhands with this, or do some rock molding with tin foil, or what. I'm still not sure yet. So, well, that's that project for now. At least I got part of the loop covered, and it's all starting to take shape. Also, I filled in the little gap in between here as well, but it's taking shape. These aren't attached yet, so still got the opening. Still gotta fill those in, of course. When I get to the next part, this is just covering all the wire mesh that I had on there, the 14 gauge wire.